Hey everyone, welcome to episode 4 of Frank Fixates. This episode I'm going to focus on the front forks. It's been a minute since I made a video, and you'll see in the video as to why. I've come across every single problem under the sun doing this particular part of the bike, and if this is any tell of how the rest of the project is going to go, wish me luck. Anyway, let's start with a stripped bolt.
So already I got a problem. This right here is stripped out, so I need to use some sort of extractor to get this out and off so I can continue taking apart both forks. So I have this tap and die set. I'm going to use this size drill bit, which matches this die, and I'm going to drill a hole through that top cap, tap it, maybe use some JB weld, maybe actually weld it. I don't know yet for sure because I don't know what's going to work. But then by welding essentially a bolt into the spot that I'm going to thread on that cap, I should be able to break it loose and open it up. Alright, so I got it out. That hole's drilled all the way through. You can't see it because it's kind of dark, but I have my tap. I got a little bit of motor oil to grease up the threads to make this go in easier. I'm going to be really gentle so that I don't snap this, because if I snap this inside there, then I'm hosed. Let's give it a try. Alright, so I was having an issue getting this off, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to JB weld this screw. I tapped this, I found a screw, I had to go to Home Depot, but I am going to try this and try and weld it on, and then push this all the way down, and then hopefully once that gets welded to the surface, I can just use a normal socket wrench to remove it instead. So these fork seals are particularly pesky, and I don't have a vise to hold this down for me to be able to pry it out, and it actually bent my cheapo crowbar in the first place. So I'm thinking I want to go to the chemical route with this, and hopefully this acetone right here will degrade it so much that it just falls apart inside, and we'll give that a try. Alright, so good news and bad news. I ended up having to go to a mechanic with the right tools to take this out. He used a seal / bearing puller, but you can see on one of these right there, there's a chunk taken out of it, and that's because they used a punch to remove the seal, but that should seal up just fine. I'll just use like some RTV or something. Alright, so this is the finished product. I know I couldn't get in here really well, but I think it should be fine. I could be able to just cover that with primer. But for the most part, it looks pretty devoid of all of the old coatings. One thing I did notice is that it does have these 2 gouge marks. Maybe that's from when we put it in the vise to remove the fork seal. Maybe that's like a manufacturing process that they're just really good at covering up. I'll have to find a way to fill these, but until then, these should be good to prime. Now time to do the next one, and I can put these back together. The Bondo and the hardener came in, so I'm going to fill the gouges in these forks. There's these 2 little gaps here, there's some roughness here, and there's a gash right here that I'm gonna fill. Then I'm gonna sand it all smooth, and then I will prime these.
So as I'm putting together my video at 1 a.m., I'm realizing that one of the best gems of information that I wanted to be in my video is gone because my phone ran out of video memory while I was filming. And that trick was going to be the creation of a fork seal hammer without having to buy the $50, $100 tool. So I'm gonna just demonstrate with some stuff that I have on my desk because it's 1 a.m., my girlfriend's asleep, neighbors, you know. So imagine that this cup here is the bottom half of your fork. Within this fork, you have the seal. So I'll just use a rolled up cord and it sits in here, and then there's a little bossman and that you like have it sit on, and there's actually a washer that goes in before this, as you saw in like a tiny clip in the video. But the problem is you have to push it down because there's a retaining clip, which I just so happen to have on my desk, that clips it in to keep it from popping back out as the top part of the fork articulates. So to do that, to create this hammer, right, without having to buy the tool for this one-time use, I call this the upper part of the fork, right? And I took electrical tape and I wrapped it around and around and around and around and around so that it was thick enough to hit most of the seal without hitting the outer ring of the lower forks. So you take this, you put the washer in, you put the seal in, you wrap the upper part of the fork with electrical tape, and then you just go ham. You just smash it, smash it, smash it until the channel where the seal clips in is visible and accessible so that you can just pop this in. And then you're done. You save yourself $50, $100. You don't have to worry about getting rid of a tool that you used once and have no other use for to try to make your money back. I totally forgot, since I used this fork to feed the tape to make my makeshift slide hammer, I gotta remove this goo. I got the forks filled with body filler, and now I have them masked off and I'm ready to prime them. All right, so I painted them off camera, but we finally got them painted. This is how they turned out. A little uneven surfaces because of the grinding that I did, but you know what? It's good enough. I like how it turned out, so we're gonna keep moving forward. So I've messed this up a couple of times, so I want to make sure you guys don't make the same mistake as me. So we're going to take this. We're going to start by putting this down here. And we're going to guide it through to the bottom so that the bottom is poking out. Then we're going to take our little metal sleeve, this guy, and then put it over it. Okay? Then we're going to take this and slide this through. And then after, we're going to take the spring and put it more compressed side down, which is the top where my fingers are. So flip it upside down, put it in. Okay? And then from here, you could put it back together by putting the sleeve cover on it or the fork screw up at the top, but right now I'm just gonna flip it upside down, and then I'm gonna compress the spring so that I can put this screw up on top here and assemble it all together. This is basically the last piece that'll keep everything constrained to itself. There we go. Alright, so that's tight. So now I can flip this back over. And now I'm going to extend it as much as I can so that I can put this guy back in as easily as I can. So what you'll do as the last step is you'll just set this down on the ground and then force these two together while also screwing this shut. What you're going to do before any of that is you're going to put oil in it. And what I have is a shot glass for me to measure it out. These with fresh oil take 6.8 fluid ounces, and a shot glass standard is 1.5 fluid ounces, so just 4.5 of these little guys full fork oil, and then you can just put it back together. So I'm going to hold it like this and then pour 4 of these, 4.5. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. And we'll do half a glass. Alright, now it's time to put it together. There. One of them's put together. Almost. Just missing the dust seal. This is the final product. Obviously these fork dust seals are missing, but I gotta get the right parts. But those should be pretty easy to install. They should just press fit right in. So just like the painting, I'll probably do the dust seal off camera because it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. But that's all I'm gonna cover for this episode. So thank you guys for watching. Feel free to hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps me out. And I'll see you guys in the next one.